Morning. So lovely to see all of you. I'm so glad to be here. We're going to wave at the people in Facebook Live land because we're happy that they are with us as well. Because what we know is that in spirit, there is no distance, there is no time, there is only love. And that love is in this room and in our virtual room as well. Because we are truly a community of fellowship and friendship, of joy and laughter and support, and just an atmosphere of right where you are is right where you're supposed to be, and here is a really good place to be. Would you agree? Yes, I agree too. So welcome and thank you again for coming. I'm Reverend Tracey Earlywine, and I see some new faces in the room this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Know that wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here with us. And we look forward to getting to know you a bit. At this time, we're still not doing a formal fellowship after service. We are asking that, as CDC recommends, that if we're going to stand around in conversation and smiling at each other, we might want to do that outdoors, just that extra level of safety to help keep everyone safe. I do ask that if you are indoors, that as the CDC has recommended, that you keep your masks on. This is just a precaution. I know many of you are fully vaccinated. However, we have a couple strains of this virus that's just a little bit tougher than the ones before. And without insisting that we all manage this pandemic the same way, instead, we acknowledge that each of us has our own circumstances that we find ourselves in. We may be fully vaccinated, yet have someone vulnerable at home. We may not be able to be vaccinated. We may have had the virus, but not yet had our second vaccine. I mean, there are all layers and levels of immunity. And so the best thing that we can do for each other, to care for each other, to take care of each other, is to err on the side of caution, which is to stay masked indoors. That means if there's something that makes you want to feel like you rock out, you've got to do it with dance moves. You can't sing along, okay? Are we good with that? Good with that. All right. We're just happy to be together, right? Right. All right. So this morning, our practitioner on platform is Diane Clemens. Our practitioners are the prayer support of this community. So if you have something on your heart or simply looking for a little clarification or guidance, talk to your prayer practitioner. They are here for you to help you know the truth for yourself. We also have a little bit of tinkling on the ivories over here in the corner with Jeff Harrison. There, he knows what to do. And I want to give a quick shout out to our sound team in the back, to Sean and Ed, who every week make this happen. As you know, we continue to get better at this live streaming thing that we're doing and to make the experience as inclusive as possible. So every week gets a little smoother, gets a little better. I forget fewer things as we go along. It's a wonderful process. So thank you for joining us. Let's get started, and let's do what we always do at the beginning, which is to get centered. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and to take that deep breath and to be preparing for the prayer that will open us up from Diane. So right now, just listen to the sound of the bowl and let that tone take you into that heart space within you. Breathing into that place that knows peace, that knows love, that knows joy.
And as we continue to relax into the quietness of our sacred spiritual center, let us give thanks for one another, for these precious friendships, for this opportunity to worship together, to be together. We give thanks for our new technology and for our gifted members who installed it, maintain it, and operate it, thus allowing our at-home members a way to be a part of our service by simply tuning in remotely. We give thanks that the appearance of a virus is now healing and is being eradicated and sent back to the nothingness from which it came. We continue to hold this vision of our world being safe and all its inhabitants being healthy, happy, safe and prosperous, and at peace. We are grateful that all this is so, as we say together, and so it is. Our reading today is taken from Ernest Holmes, and today he says, I am radiant with the health of God. Then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thine health shall spring forth speedily. Whatever we identify ourselves with, we tend to become. Whatever we think about gradually becomes a subconscious pattern, always tending to manifest in our experience. And therefore, we should endeavor to identify our physical bodies with the spiritual reality that is the very substance and essence of the physical being. We do not deny the physical body, but rather affirm that every organ and action and function of the body is radiant with the perfection of God. There is an inner life, complete perfection, that exists at the center of everything. Otherwise, nothing could be. We should identify ourselves with this perfect pattern of our being, claiming its reality in our experience and continuously knowing that we are animated by the living Spirit. Today, I identify my body with the action of God, the radiant life of divine being. Today, I identify my physical body with my spiritual body, claiming that they are one and the same. Therefore, I see that every organ, every action, every function of my body belongs to the rhythm of life as part of the radiant presence of the living Spirit. There is one divine circulation flowing through everything, flowing through me right now. There is one infinite rhythm at the center of everything. I am part of this perfect whole. There is perfect circulation, perfect assimilation, and perfect elimination. There is perfection in every part of my being, and wholeness and completeness. This physical body is a temple of the living Spirit that animates it, sustains it, rebuilds it after the image of its own perfection, and keeps it in perfect health, in perfect harmony, and perfect wholeness. Thank you, Ernest Holmes.
Thank you, Diane. So let's start by lighting our candle for the theme this month, which is pulled by vision. The idea being that when we take the time to catch the vision that life has for us, that inner knower has ready and is available to our next step, our next idea, our next project, when we catch that vision, we are pulled forward and can't help but grow and thrive and expand. And so rather than wait to be pushed by pain, which is how much of the change of the world happens, we choose consciously to be pulled by our vision. And that is what we are talking about today. I want to start with an excerpt from a reading from this month's Science of Mind magazine, which apparently my folded page is no longer folded. So one moment, please, while I get there. Here we go. It's written by Reverend Dr. Margaret Stortz. She's one of the longstanding members and former columnist for Science of Mind magazine, and she's writing on ideas in the stream. I like to imagine ideas as blossoms that float on the waters of mind. And the divine mind does indeed flow like water, which touches everything with itself and avoids no one and nothing. Our relentless searches can enable us to invite the larger mind into our personal accessibilities, turning the previously impossible unknown into a new possible known. Ideas in the stream mean little in and of themselves, though. To touch lives, they must become ideas in form. And this is part of the wonder of our humanity. Plucking ideas from the stream and giving them heartbeats and footprints in our everyday life. Our title today is The Water of Infinite Life, and it comes from a quote from Ernest Holmes that reads, "We are in the water of infinite life as the fish is in the ocean. The spirit of life is all around us. It flows through us. It permeates everything." When you think about the fish swimming in the ocean, taking in the water and extracting the oxygen for sustenance, for life itself, and releasing everything else back into the water, moving constantly, surrounded by, filled up with a part of the very water that it swims in. And that's what spirit is to us. By any name, this energy or essence of life that animates all that we are is in, around, and through each of us. Try this for me. Take a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then just follow your breathing for a moment. Feel the breath move in and out, and in again and out. Just being aware of this flow of oxygen, this air moving through you, breathing your body, so to speak. And then expand your awareness to feel the air on your skin. You may have to stretch a little if there isn't a breeze or a fan blowing on you, but there is a sensation of the air that surrounds us, that we move through every day. And as you once again open your eyes, did some of you notice that as you brought your awareness to your breathing, you actually were breathing more deeply? That when you start to pay attention, all of a sudden, whatever that experience is expanding. You're aware of it differently. And that's what being stayed on spirit does for us. When we live with an awareness or from an awareness of our spiritual nature, it deepens our experience of life because it changes our perspective. It changes our awareness. The air is always around us. Most of the time we don't think about it, right? And I don't know about you, but when I pause and focus on my breath, I usually find out I'm breathing very shallowly, right? Short little breaths. And if I'm tense or scared or excited, they're short, fast little breaths. And if I'm at peace or in meditation or simply tuning in, it's deeper, it's slower, it's richer. My sense of spirit does the same thing for me. When I see the world from my spiritual center, rather than from my busy human self running around doing everything, life is deeper and richer, and I am the richer for it. So generally, we make a spiritual practice of some sort, right? We create a set of actions that we do to bring us to a place of contemplation so that we might pause and reflect. Because it's in that pausing and reflecting that we get back in touch with the greater part of ourselves. All right? We all carry many roles. We all have many hats that we wear, right? We're family members, we're coworkers, we're the guy next door, we're the person who sold us the car. I mean, we're a little bit of everything in the world, but within ourselves, we're also spirit. We're also something greater. We're also part of this greater picture of what life actually is. And as it said in the quote, we take this idea of spirit down into our own lives to make it personal to us. What happens is the light, we often talk of spirit as light, the energy, the enlightenment that we all seek, the spiritual seeking that we all do. That light shines through us as individuals like light through stained glass. It's always different, right? We appear different to each other. We're all unique. We have our own colors, our own patterns, our own ways of being. The light, however, that shines through us is always from the one presence, the one light, the one power, that spiritual truth. Ralph Waldo Trine, New Thought writer, says that the great central fact of human experience is the coming into consciousness, the vital realization of our oneness with this infinite life, and the opening of ourselves fully to this divine inflow. So the truth is, we have to be open to knowing ourselves as spiritual beings. There isn't really anything out in the world necessarily that's going to remind us to go within and get centered and feel spirit. Most of the time what we're being asked to do is to buy something or to go somewhere or to spend some money someplace, or someone is tugging on the hem of our shirt saying, "Mommy, mommy," or "Grandma, grandma," and always wanting something to happen rather than recognizing what already is. The hymn that starts out, woke up this morning, stayed on Jesus. In the civil rights movement, one of the freedom fighters in jail rewrote the song to, "I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom." And so this idea that our mind can be stayed on spirit is a way of saying that we choose to step into the world looking from and acting from and expressing as the divine nature that we are, in addition to all of the lovely, chaotic, beautiful, messy, ugly, everything human life that we live. What we're really saying is spirit first. You start with God, everything else is added. In other words, if I am seeing my world through the eyes of love and compassion and giving and service, I'm going to act differently than if I'm seeing my world in terms of what I can get from you and what's in it for me and how am I going to make more money and all of the things that we swirl around with in our very human experience. It's not bad. It's just about balance. Of course we live in the world. Of course we have to pay our rent. Of course we're in relationship with each other and it's not always neat and tidy. But we need to balance that with the greater truth so that as we move about in the world, we do so with a sense of wholeness and integrity and power. It's a mistake to think that all the power is outside in the world. We talked a little bit about Kingdom 3. Kingdom 3 in consciousness is the idea that the life energy, that spirit works through us, that life doesn't happen to us. That's Kingdom 1. Everybody's a victim. It's not your fault, not your responsibility either. Or Kingdom 2, hey, I can pull myself up by my bootstraps. I can make something happen. Life only happens if I do it. Any if I do it people out there? Yeah, there's a few of us. Some of us are recovering nicely. But the idea is that if you don't do it yourself, it doesn't get done right. Well, that's a limited way of looking at the world. right? Because by definition, that means we're talking about our human power only, and we are more than that. So Kingdom 3 says Spirit works through me. Kingdom 4 is Spirit works as me. I am Spirit in form, and so are you. Now, we have a lot of human things that get in the way of that flowing freely, right? Life is flowing all around us, but we're really, really good at putting up obstacles and building little dams and structuring walls and, diverting the flow or stopping it altogether with negative thinking, with limited ideas, with opinions that shut people out, with self-talk that brings us down. Those are all things that stop the flow of life, which is already there, like the air around us, like the air we breathe. It's already there. Our job, our call, is to get centered, to find our center, to remind ourselves that it is there and we are part of it. That's the deeper part of us. That's the strengthening and growing that comes from our awareness. When we tap into the love that we are in the center, because that's really what life is, it's the expression of love, the givingness of life, as Ernest Holmes says, we build a structure of behavior around what we love for those moments when love falters. Think about it. If you do your spiritual practice every day, you sort of build up this reservoir of what you know about yourself, what you know about the world, what you know about love. You remind yourself of the greater truth so your problems don't seem quite so pressing. And on the days when it's just not going well, or you find yourself in the middle of chaos, or you're on some part of the roller coaster that has you upside down, that structure supports you. And so our ability to tap in to the center of us, to the heart of us, to the power within us, is what gets us through the times that are more challenging, helps us deal with the people who are toxic in our lives, helps us come up with creative options to solve problems that we might be dealing with. Now, I know it's true for me, and I imagine it's true for you too, that you are drawn to people who seem very open to the flow of life, right? The ones that just kind of coast along and they've got it going on and they're successful, or they're happy, or they've got a beautiful family, or they just seem to be grounded and they're peaceful to be around. These are folks that have cleared the channel that spirit might flow more easily through them. And so once we find our own center, what happens is that soul's urge to connect, that recognition that underneath it all these differences, we're all one, we need to connect. We find our tribe. We want to be around people who model the lives that we aspire to. We want to be around people who will cheer us on and support us. I think most of us probably had some aspect of our family that didn't necessarily support what we wanted to be. Now, some did. Some had full support at home. But, if you wanted to be a dancer and dad wanted you to follow him into dentistry, that's a whole different dynamic, right? So you seek out a tribe of people who are there for you, who see you for who you really are, and support that and love that and lift you up and show you, yes, this is possible. See, I'm doing it. You can do it too. We seek our tribe. You come here, don't you? Now, not because you're going to copy what somebody else did so you can, it made me think of the real estate seminars in the 80s. I'm a millionaire, but through real estate, come to my $700 seminar and I'll teach you how to do it too. How did that work out for you? They got richer. Yeah, right. So we're not looking to do what someone else did for ourselves because, again, remember, stained glass windows, we're all different. But it is good to see what's possible because that's what spiritual living is all about. It's about this infinite life, the infinite possibilities we have, the choices we can make that sometimes we forget when we only look at what's right in front of us. What we are invited to do is participate. Margaret Wheatley talks about standing clear in our mind with a willingness to be involved in discovery, so a curiosity, and life asks that we participate rather than plan. You see, if you're stayed on spirit, you're not worried so much about how in the world something could possibly happen. How can this impossible dream ever come true? How could this huge problem in society ever get resolved? We get stuck on the hows, we generally stop moving, or we just argue with each other about how to do it because we don't agree. But if we share a vision of what the possibility is, that we have a world that works for everyone, that we have a relationship that's mutually beneficial, that we are able to demonstrate prosperity in our own life and share it with others, then we are moving in participation. In other words, we've got that structured framework that supports us no matter what comes our way, no matter what shows up, no matter who shows up. We are centered. We have a tribe that supports us, and we are able to move forward in the direction of our own vision of something better, something greater, something more. And it's really all about love. Because that's the bottom line, right? Whatever we're doing, we think we're doing it because we're going to get more love out of it, right? You know, of course, that if you wear the right clothes, shop at the right stores, drive the right car, you will be loved and lovable and all those things, right? That's how it works in the human world, no? Funny that. But if you're stayed on spirit, you have to succeed. You have to grow. You have to thrive, because that is the nature of life. That is the nature of nature. That is the nature of life allowed to express, and what we are meant to be as well. So we find our center, we find our tribe, and then we find our expression. How exactly do we want to show up in the world? What is our creative calling? How are we meant to share our gifts? Because we are meant to share our gifts, and we all have them. Now, some of you may know what your gifts are. I've got a couple of musicians up here in the front row. I'm thinking about them. They share their gift all the time. You're a teacher. You're able to explain things to little kids or to adults or to folks coming out of prison into their halfway house. You're able to connect and support and enliven someone's life. That's your gift. Or it may simply be that you one-on-one mentor or foster or adopt a child, and your gift is in giving this child a family. We all have gifts. They're big, they're small, they're important. So Pat, many times, she knows I'm telling stories on her, just so you know. These are all cleared stories. I only tell you the ones she lets me tell. Several times in her long career with her company, she's a consultant. It can be pretty stressful. They have high-level clients, and sometimes high-level people aren't very nice, you know. Now, she does generally work with nice people, but she's busy all the time. And several times in her career, she's thought, you know, it's time to shift this up. I got to change this. It's either too much stress or not productive, or the team is not, these are not my people. I could be more effective somewhere else with my gifts. And so she'll move to a new project. Or magically, a new boss will show up and things get a lot better. It's funny how that magic works, right? So she's in the middle of magic right now. She kind of realized that work is not working for her. Now, not in a stomp out the door, quit, and go on Facebook and write rants. More like, you know, I think this could be better for me. I think there could be less stress and more joy. I think that my skills and talents could be used in a way that actually feels like it nurtures me, not just the company. When you say that you want to see what's out there, what you're doing is you're stepping into the stream. You're actively entering the flow of life where those ideas are floating by and looking for, becoming aware of the opportunities and ideas for you to try, for you to explore, for you to discover. So she's entered into the stream, and with the awareness, the willingness to say, I'm open to something new, all kinds of new things are coming up. It started with an old coworker. Out of the blue, hi, how you doing? Hey, let's meet for lunch just because, hey, I'll invite this other guy to come too. That's great. Hey, I love my job with my new company. Having a really good time. You might want to check it out. No, I don't know if I want to leave the company. I just want something new, right? Well, the other guy couldn't come. So he said, why don't you just come over to the office and he'll just show you around and we'll chat. 2 seconds later, she has an invitation to send her resume for someone she used to work with that she really respects at a company doing similar work but not the same. And whether it turns out to be the job for her or not doesn't matter. What matters is that feeling of possibility that has risen up in her. What matters is that awareness of the infinite life in which we live has shifted the way she moves through her day. Wouldn't you like some days to shift the way you're moving through the day? It comes with that possibility thinking. Now, she was very clear because, she is stayed on spirit. She's a practitioner by training, and she's probably been science of mind her whole life and just didn't know what to call it, like many of us in this room, right? She was very clear. She said she wanted it to be easy and perfect outcome. How many of you have ever gone looking for another job and thought you were going to die in the process? 8,000 resumes go out, not one call back, and all the jobs that do want to hire you pay, $7.25 an hour. This is not good. She wanted it to be easy, and she wanted it to have a perfect outcome. The guy she had lunch with said, she said, we didn't really get a chance to talk. Maybe we could talk next week. What day's good for you? He says, really, any day ending in Y is just fine. Think about it. Any day ending in Y. This is where you laugh at the minister's jokes. Really, people? Those of you at home, thank you for laughing. They couldn't hear you, that's all. It's easy. It's easy. Becoming aware deepens our experience of life. Choosing to start from spirit reminds us of the infinite possibilities that lay before us, that are always around us. What she said was, those opportunities have always been there. That guy's been working at that company for a year. He would have talked to me anytime. But I had to step in. I had to take action. I had to know myself well enough to know that I'm ready for a change. I want to see what's out there. Poof, magic. Emerson has a great quote. He says, there's guidance for each of us, and by listening, we shall hear the right word. Place yourself in the middle of the stream of power and wisdom which flows into your life. Then, without effort, you are impelled to truth and to perfect contentment. The truth is, we live in the water of infinite life. All that we are, in and out, through and around, is life-giving. Our awareness of that, our willingness to start from center among like-minded people who will support us in our journey of discovery, allows us to move out into the world expressing and living the passion of the heart in ways that serve everyone, in ways that help us create a world that works for everyone. So what I know to be true is that the gift that you are has an ever greater expression calling your name. Ask yourself, what is mine to do now? Who am I to be now? For within me is a living water, a stream of possibility that is always available. My heart is always open. Namaste. So I invite you to join me in prayer. And today, our closing prayer comes from Mother Teresa. So if you will, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and let these words rain down upon you. May today be peace within. May you trust your highest power that you are exactly where you are meant to be. May you not forget the infinite possibilities that are born of faith. May you use those gifts that you have received and pass on the love that has been given to you. May you be content knowing you are a child of God, an expression of spirit. Let this presence settle into your bones and allow your soul the freedom to sing, dance, praise, and love. It is there for each and every one of you. And so it is. All right, if you will, we have an affirmation today. I invite you to repeat each sentence after me. Today, I am pulled forward by spiritual vision. Today, I am pulled forward by spiritual vision. The divine spirit is powerfully flowing as me. The divine spirit is powerfully flowing as me. And so it is. All right. Once again, I want to thank all of you for your continuing contributions in this community. We are a thriving and prosperous group of We'll switch microphones. We'll turn this one off. How's that? Okay. What was I saying? How prosperous we are. Yes, we are. So as we continue to keep ourselves safe and protected, we are not yet passing the basket, but we do want to acknowledge the contributions that you are making. And if you are familiar with our prosperity affirmation, please join in. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. And as you go, so goes the world. Yes. All right. A couple little things. Well, big things, really. Our Wednesday night gateway is starting up again, but we're still via Zoom. All right. Again, we're just a little extra precaution. We're not going to meet in person just yet. But this Wednesday night, there will be a link for you to connect and enjoy a conversation. It's always a topic and a discussion and something wonderful. So if you've been away from Wednesdays for a while or just want to check it out, join us at 7 o'clock via Zoom. The link will be on our website and it will also be in our email for this week. Not yet, I don't think. Nisa, are you here? She was here. I think she wandered out back. Yeah, I think we're not yet doing the meditation before service. I'll let you know if that changes. I also want to acknowledge that our tennis shoe drive is doing amazing things. We actually ran out of bags. We had so many shoes. I don't know if you saw last week, but we were filling that container, and it was like up to here yesterday, and Shelly had to go get the last of her bags to haul it all away. So we're doing very well. However, some of you still have tennis shoes in your closet you're not using and you're never going to use. So make sure you bring them out, donate them. They'll get upcycled and recycled into either playground mats or shoes for kids or adults that need them. It's something that we can do easily. It costs us nothing. We benefit, the association benefits, and it's good all around. All right, and at this time, I don't know if you noticed we redecorated a little bit out front when you came in. Yeah. So I'm going to invite our board treasurer, Shelley, to come up and kick off our program of Christmas in July. Give her a welcome.
Merry Christmas in July. You guys probably all noticed the Christmas trees, right? So we thought it would be nice for us to celebrate our center. So our center has welcomed back, and we've decided why not provide some celebration for our beautiful center. So there's Christmas trees out there with little tags on them. We're trying to see what we can do around the center, including things like, I don't know, maybe painting. There's some painting that might need to occur on the outside. So we're looking for new plants. We're going to try to, whatever gifts that you want to provide. Furniture for the front foyer. So we have 3 different categories for you to choose from. One of them is really decorations, furniture, maybe some new silk greenery. We're looking to get maybe some new sails, just some really things to liven up the center. The other one is plants and outdoor. So those of you who love plants, you can come and help us plant them. And of course, we have any additional things like we kind of need a couple more laptops, things like that. So you'll see another tree with another tags with IT type of things. All you have to do is pick the tag you desire, like paint. Put your name and amount, whatever you decide you want to add. Add your gift along with the tag and your name into the envelopes. You'll see them out there by the trees, and put them in the box. You could probably figure out which box is for what, but really it doesn't matter which box you pick, as long as you put your name on there. And that way we know what you are specifically earmarking it for, whether it's paint, a plant, rocks, whatever. It's your choice. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.
Thanks, Shelley. So we have, we thought, giving ourselves presents was a good idea, right? And for those of you that are really into Christmas in July, I will remind you that the Hallmark Channel is showing Christmas movies in July. So if you can't wait till December, feel free to dive into, snowy scenes and perfect romantic relationships, right? It's always good to have an ideal out there for yourself. Anyway, have a little fun with it. Go check it out. There are some tags on the trees that are just dollar amounts. So you can drop it in any box you want, and we'll make sure it goes to that. Or you can pick something close to your heart. And we'll be doing this for the month of July. So check it out. Your board members will be out there to answer your questions. And of course, if you have brilliant ideas, we'll take those too, right? Right. See, she's nodding yes. So, all right. I think that's all that we have for today, unless anyone, Mickey's got something. Oh, it's today. We sang last week to Cheryl, didn't we? Well, it's even better on the day of, but we already decided that if there isn't a musician up front, the minister will not lead the happy birthday next time. So y'all may wish her a happy birthday outside yourself. Sing yourself. It'll be fine. All right. So join us afterwards for Christmas in July. And for right now, let's stand up, make a nicely spaced circle. Remember, we're dancing. We're not singing. So keep your masks on if you've got them. And let's rock out to a little Eddie Watkins Jr. on our way out the door.